with lifestyle changes and holistic therapies. Welcome to the show, the best-selling author of Normal Doesn't Have Side Effects, Dr. Amy Duffy. Hi, Dr. Amy.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi. I really love the title of your book. I think it says a lot, but I want to talk about how you came up with that.
Well, I tell my patients all the time when they're coming in, and we're working on things that what I call get to the root cause of why you have an issue or a symptom, as opposed to just band-aiding it with a medication. So when I was in medical school, we were always told when we're giving a prescription to a patient that we should tell them all the side effects that they're supposed to experience. And now what I get to say to my patients is my goal is to get you back to normal, and normal doesn't have side effects. So we don't have to talk about the long list of symptoms or side effects you're going to experience. So it's amazing.
Fantastic. And as we did mention, with the pandemic, these last couple of years, people have been struggling all over the world, a lot of anxieties. It's so prevalent right now. What causes us to suffer from that?
Well, I think we just are overwhelmed as a society. I mean, we were already overwhelmed to begin with. We've got, we wake up to alarm clocks before the sun comes up, and then we're turning on lights at night when naturally back in the caveman days, the sun came up. That's when you got up, you did your thing. And then as the sun goes down, you start to calm down, settle down, we go to sleep, and we start the process over again. And now we just have so much stimulation, from alarm clocks to lights to our phones to traffic to our schedule, dings on our phone all the time. So I think our body is just overwhelmed and overstimulated. And then we have, of course, the fear of health that has plagued us for the last couple of years. So that's there's so many things going on that just add up.
Well, fortunately, we have you here, Dr. Amy, and I know you have 5 tips to combat anxiety. So let's walk through them.
Yeah. So the first one, when if you're sitting in a room and you're feeling really anxious, and you feel your heart racing and beating, one of the things you can do is what I call the 3-3-3 rule. So just look around and name 3 things that you see. And then the second part of that is look around and listen, make your body calm. You might even close your eyes a little bit, but just listen to 3 things that you can hear. And the third part is to move 3 parts of your body. So you can do a shoulder shrug, you can wiggle your toes if you don't want anybody to know that's what you're doing. Maybe move your wrists around or wriggle your fingers as well. That's the 3-3-3 rule.
I'm good at that last one unintentionally. I'm always fidgeting. All right, how about number 2? Walk it off. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that anxiety or stress is a signal from your brain that maybe you're getting chased by a saber-toothed tiger, right? And it wants you to run away from that. So you can indulge that a little bit by just getting up and taking a walk. You can walk down the hallway if you're inside. If you have access to outside, can you get outside and just take a walk? That starts to allow your brain to recognize I am running away from that tiger, and it'll help calm you down a little bit.
Right. This is a big one. Getting good sleep, number 3. Talk about it.
Oh, yeah. And this is difficult because sometimes when you're anxious, you can't sleep, right? But the more that you can start working on good sleep habits, one of the things is when you're not getting good sleep and you're fatigued the next day, your ability to run from that tiger is more threatened. So you're going to be responsive to that anxiety and stress even more. So try to prepare ahead of time. Work on your sleep to prevent anxiety the next day.
Good. And then we have this one. I'm curious. Box breathing? What's that?
This is super easy to do because it doesn't take much brain power when you're super anxious, but you actually visualize a box. Step 1 is to breathe for a count of 4 up the side, hold your breath for 4 across, breathe down or breathe out, going down the box, and fill in the box, holding your breath to the next one. You do that 4 times, and that's just it's a little mini meditation if you think about, but it'll bring you right back down into calm zone.
Fantastic. And then we have number 5. I struggle with this one. Cold water plunge or shower. Okay, talk about this.
This is really interesting. There's so much research on this topic. It's really fun. They're talking about either acute anxiety or they're talking about long-term anxiety and depression when people are taking cold showers on a regular basis. So getting into a cold shower, if you're up here where I am, our pools are still cold right now, so you can do a cold plunge if you want to. But it actually starts to release some of those feel-good neurotransmitters and can make you feel happy. But if you're acutely anxious or stressed, You know, one of the first things you do when you get cold water dumped on you, or you turn the cold water on the shower, is you go, you take this big deep breath and you
Yeah.
hold it, right? But if you go, oh, I can't, I got to breathe through this. I'm going to stay in here for 30 seconds or a minute. You might work up to a minute. You got to make yourself breathe through that. So it's forcing you to take big, deep breaths.
Right.
And that really helps slow your heart rate down, and it calms you down. And you may even have a little sense of euphoria at the end. It's great.
Nice. Well, I work in a freezing studios here, so hopefully that's the next best thing. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. And if you at home want more information, be sure to pick up a copy of Normal Doesn't Have Side Effects, available